Thanks for taking care of my daughter. I'll come pick her up the day after tomorrow. Over the phone, Sana sounded cheerful. Hearing her voice made me uncomfortable. She had left Waverly at my house because she wanted to go on a trip. I couldn't know her true intentions, but it seemed like she didn't care much about Waverly. Hiding behind a suitcase that was too big for her, Waverly had been waiting for me. I wondered how much anxiety she had felt while I was away. Just thinking about it made my heart ache. At the same time, I felt anger towards Sana. I knew it was wrong. But I couldn't help wanting to see her reaction, so I lied. What? I don't have her. What? Wasn't she in the garage? The moment Sana heard my words, I could tell she started to panic, even over the phone. My name is Erica Oak. I'm a 61-year-old housewife. I met my husband, Ken, in college, and we've been together ever since. I wonder how many years it has been. I still look at photos of Ken and me from our college days and reminisce about the past. Originally, Ken and I knew each other. When I entered college, I didn't know anyone and had a hard time fitting in. Even in the club I joined while feeling nervous, I couldn't fit in well and often ended up spending time alone. I wished for a more glamorous college life, one where I could fit in more easily. But wishing didn't make it so, and I couldn't bring myself to take action. Eventually, I made friends through classes and seminars, but I never fit into any club. I was thinking about quitting. Then Ken, a year ahead of me, approached me. Hey, Erica. Are you okay? Let's talk for a bit. Yes. Since we hadn't really talked much before, I was surprised not only that Ken spoke to me but also that he remembered my name. At first, I was nervous talking to him, but his friendly nature and ease of conversation quickly melted away my apprehension. Ken's initial approach led to us interacting more. And eventually starting to date. Even after we began dating, Ken remained kind, always thinking of me. He often helped me with my studies, using his seniority as a pretext. This relationship continued unchanged even after Ken graduated from college and then after I graduated. 2 years after my graduation, Ken proposed and we happily got married. We were able to build a good relationship with my in-laws, and I was enjoying married life every day. A few years later, a lively boy was born to us. This led to me quitting my job. We named him Tom and raised him with care. Tom's eyes really look like yours, Erica. And his nose and mouth resemble you. We enjoyed pointing out who Tom resembled more while holding him in our arms. I hope he grows up to be kind. Yes. I agreed with Ken's wish. I wanted Tom to be someone who was kind and considerate to everyone, just like Ken. Even if it seemed like I was imposing my desires on him, I couldn't help but wish for it. Just as we had hoped, Tom grew up to be a healthy and kind child. He was doing well in school, had leadership qualities, and was relied upon by his classmates. When I heard this from his teacher, I was not only happy but also felt a pride. Time flew by, and before we knew it, Tom had become a working adult. Well, I'm off then. Thanks for everything up to now. When he was leaving home for his job, Tom thanked us. It was indeed sad to think of the house without Tom. But it wasn't as if it was a farewell forever, we could meet any time we wanted. Yet, the moment he spoke, I was overwhelmed with a sense of loneliness and tears started flowing. Oh, come on, Mom. You're crying too much. Sorry. It just came out of nowhere. Mom's just sad because Tom is leaving home, right? Ken smiled and chimed in, trying to make light of the situation. Feeling the usual warmth of our family until the very end was comforting. 3 years later, on an ordinary day of our peaceful life, Tom called with unexpected news. Mom, there's someone I want you to meet. Someone you want to introduce? I could tell from his voice, even over the phone, that he was nervous. Yeah. It's my girlfriend. We've decided to get married, so I wanted to introduce her. I was shocked. At the same time, I realized just how old he had gotten, feeling the swiftness of my child's growth. Married! Congratulations! Thanks. Tom was a bit shy about it. I wondered what kind of person he had chosen as his spouse. Just as I had gotten along well with my in-laws, could I also get along with this woman? With a mix of anticipation and anxiety, I looked forward to the day we would meet. However, I had never imagined that I would be so affected by her. On the day of the greeting, as promised, Tom arrived at our house with the woman. Let me introduce you. This is Sanaa Norman. I'm Sanaa. Nice to meet you. Sanaa looked at Ken and me but then started to look around nervously. It was clear she was very tense. You don't have to be so nervous. I understand how you feel though. Right. Just relax and feel at home. Thank you. Sanaa then sipped her coffee, seemingly to ease her nerves. Tom had chosen a woman who, just like him, seemed earnest. I thought so at first, but as time passed, I started to feel something was off about Sanaa's behavior. About 30 minutes after Tom and Sanaa arrived. It was good to see Sanaa's tension ease and she began to smile and talk, but for some reason, she absolutely avoided making eye contact with me. Because of this, her demeanor felt somewhat distant. Do you have any hobbies, Sanaa? Hobbies? I'm curious too. Got any hobbies? Reading. No matter what question I asked, Sanaa wouldn't answer me. But to Ken's questions, she would respond energetically with a smile. I wondered if Sanaa was scared of me. But that seemed odd because she appeared quite composed. In the end, Sanaa's attitude towards me didn't change throughout our meeting. Even Ken seemed to have noticed at some point, but chose not to mention it. Likely out of consideration, so I didn't bring up Sanaa's behavior either. Time passed without any improvement in the relationship between Sanaa and me, and the wedding day arrived. Sanaa's behavior towards me remained the same. She would look at me with annoyance and occasionally show a face of disgust. Sanaa, that dress looks great on you. You look really beautiful. Thank you. Hey. I didn't want to impose on her right before the wedding. But I couldn't help being bothered by her attitude towards me. Did I do something to upset you? Huh? I was just wondering if maybe you were scared of me or something. If there's anything you're unhappy with or scared about, please tell me. I'll try to fix it. Upon hearing my words, Sanaa's face once again showed disgust. What? No, nothing's wrong. Oh, really? Aren't you overthinking it? Sanaa coldly dismissed me and walked away, her long dress trailing behind her. Maybe she was right, and I was just overthinking it. I pondered this as I watched her leave. After the wedding and as life returned to normal, Sanaa's attitude towards me didn't change. She seemed to enjoy talking with Ken and Tom, but her interactions with me remained cold. Hey, doesn't Sanaa seem cold to you alone? Finally, one day Ken expressed his concern. Doesn't it bother you? Maybe I should talk to Tom about it. No, it's okay. Indeed, I was upset. But I didn't want to spoil their happiness in newlywed bliss. But I just don't want to make a big deal of it, you know? I don't want to cause any trouble between the two of them because of me. Maybe it's best if I just keep my distance and watch over them from afar. It was hard to put into words. But without saying what I thought, nothing would change. I see. If anything comes up, you tell me, okay? Ken acknowledged my feelings and began to watch over me gently. After living this way for about 2 years, the day came when Tom and Sanaa had a child. A lively girl who resembled both of them. Her name is Waverly. Cute, isn't she? Tom spoke softly while looking at Waverly sleeping in his arms. Suddenly, I remembered when Tom was little and couldn't help but smile. Yeah. She's cute. Hearing my words, Tom smiled happily. Surely, parenting would bring its challenges. I wanted to help, but I didn't want Sanaa to think I was a nuisance. Besides, it's their child. It's better for them to raise her on their own. I continued to watch over them from a distance. However, for years after Waverly was born, a significant change occurred. Tom had to go on a long-term business trip. It wasn't for an excessively long period, but it was a solo assignment nonetheless. Hey, could you please look after her a bit? Just a little? Okay, got it. Initially, I planned to keep my distance as always, but after Tom asked, I started paying more attention to Sanaa than usual. Hello? Sanaa, is everything okay? A week after Tom started his solo assignment, I decided to give Sanaa a call. Okay, about what? Isn't it hard being alone? If anything comes up, just let me know, okay? Our houses are close, feel free to come over with Waverly to hang out. I tried to show my concern in my own way, but I expected the usual cold response. However, her reply was completely unexpected. Really? Is that okay? Huh? What's with that reaction? You said I could come over to your house. Yeah. I was taken aback by her response, not expecting such a reply at all. So, I can come over? Yes, of course. Come over for a meal or if there's anything else. Then, can I come over tomorrow? Of course. This turned into an opportunity for Sanaa and Waverly to visit our house more often. I thought it might be a chance for Sanaa to open up to me. Despite my efforts to connect with her, the distance between us didn't seem to shorten. Instead, her behavior became even worse and more aggressive. Your cooking is terrible. Did Tom grow up eating this? It's unbelievable. I kind of feel sorry for him. I'm sorry you didn't like it. It's not about liking it, it's just bad. I can't let Waverly eat this. Sanaa often came over during the day. With my husband at work, she didn't hold back on her comments. The food is bad, the house is dirty, it's dim and creepy. How many times did she say such things? Naturally, I was saddened. At the same time, I couldn't help but wonder what she thought of me. But no matter how much I inquired, the response was always the same. I was overthinking it. Gradually, it became apparent that she was using me as an outlet for her stress. It didn't take long to realize that her behavior was getting worse after it had already become dreadful. Oh, right. I was thinking of going shopping now. Could you watch Waverly for me? All right. Then see you later. Ever since Sanaa started coming over, another concern arose. She would frequently leave Waverly with me to go shopping. Initially, I thought everyone needed a break, so I didn't mind. However, I began to wonder if it was happening too often. It didn't seem like she was shopping for groceries or daily necessities. Instead, she appeared to be buying more luxurious items for herself like expensive cosmetics, perfumes, and jewelry. Did you buy a new necklace again? Huh? What? Is that a problem? No, it's not that. Did Sanaa feel guilty about her purchases? Even when I casually brought up jewelry or perfumes, she wouldn't engage in the conversation. Instead, she would snap at me. I had many thoughts about her behavior and words. But I was the target. If I endured it, no one else would have to suffer. I continued to interact with Sanaa without provoking her. Seemingly encouraged by my lack of complaints, her behavior worsened. Erica, did you make this again? I can eat the other dishes, but this one is just not it. Seriously, has Tom or anyone ever told you that your cooking is bad? No one's ever said that to me. By this time, I often found myself unable to bear it any longer. If you're going to complain that much, you don't have to eat here. Maybe you should just eat outside? Really? Isn't that a bit heartless? I don't want to cook for someone who does nothing but complain. In fact, I'd rather you didn't come over at all. What? Annoying. Even when I clearly expressed my thoughts, she would just snap back at me. Don't you realize I come here to save on food expenses? Kids cost a lot of money, you know. I'm not working, so I have to save wherever I can, right? And yet you seem to buy expensive things for yourself? Seriously, that's so annoying. What I do is my business. This was a waste of time talking to someone like you. Sana twisted my words and retorted. I got angry too and sometimes said things that weren't very mature. But I wasn't wrong in what I said. Maybe Sana believes her actions are justified too. At this rate, I'll never understand her. I miss the times when I hoped we could get along, as now our relationship seems more distant than ever. 3 months after our conflicts began, a significant incident occurred. When I returned home from shopping for dinner, I saw a large suitcase in front of the house. Having no idea what it was, I approached it cautiously. Then, from behind the suitcase, I saw a child. It was Waverly. Hey, Waverly! What are you doing here? Grandma. The moment Waverly saw me, tears overflowed from her big eyes, and she ran to hug me. Where's Mom? Confused by the clearly odd situation, I asked Waverly what had happened. Hearing my question, she began to speak haltingly. Well, we were at home, and suddenly Mom brought this rolling bag. She started packing my clothes and toys into it, and then she put it in the car with me. Do you know where Mom went after that? I don't know. But she was talking on the phone with a man about going on a trip. A man? From Waverly's story, it seemed Sana had left her daughter behind to go on a trip. Likely with a man. The thought of infidelity crossed my mind. With Tom away on a solo assignment, Sana might be having an affair. That would explain why she left Waverly behind so deliberately. She didn't ask me directly because she knew I would lecture her if she explained the reason and how long she'd need me to look after Waverly. Okay, thanks for telling me. Let's go inside for now. I have some orange juice that you like. Okay. I took Waverly's hand, her face full of unease, and we went inside. I'm going to call your mom, okay? I gave Waverly some orange juice and picked up my smartphone to call Sana. Despite her favorite treat being in front of her, she seemed too upset to enjoy it. My heart ached seeing her like this. I dialed Sana's number. But there was no sign of it even ringing, indicating she might already be on the plane. Quietly hanging up, I pondered what to do next. Now we were in such a situation. It was clear I needed to contact Tom. I operated my smartphone again and called Tom. Tom! Mom, what's up all of a sudden? And why do you sound so panicked? Well, I explained everything to Tom. He could clearly be heard getting upset over the phone. So that happened. Sana left Waverly? And there was a man's voice? After finishing the story, I waited for his response. Is Waverly okay? Waverly is here with me, so don't worry. That's good then. Tom sounded relieved. However, his anger towards Sana soon became evident. I'm worried about the man, but leaving Waverly behind is absolutely unforgivable. I'll try calling her and talking to Waverly right now. I think she's on a plane right now. I tried to calm an angry Tom with a steady voice. Oh, right. I'm just a bit frazzled. I'll call her when I've calmed down. Yeah, please. Tom regained a bit of his composure and said in a sad voice before hanging up. It seems that even after Tom spoke to her, Sana showed no signs of remorse. Instead, she seemed to be laughing it off. I don't know if I can deal with this anymore. Hearing his anguished cry, my heart ached. About a month after I started taking care of Waverly, I got a call from Sana. Thanks for taking care of my daughter. I'll come to pick her up. Her voice was too cheerful, seemingly without any malice. The moment I heard her voice, anger surged within me. Did she ever consider how Waverly felt, left behind with a suitcase too big for her, waiting for me to return? It just doesn't seem like Sana truly cares about Waverly. I know it's wrong. But I couldn't help wanting to see her reaction, so I lied. What? I'm not taking care of her. The moment Sana heard my words, I could tell she started to panic, even over the phone. What? Wasn't she in the garage? She must have left Waverly in the garage to avoid being seen by the neighbors. My anger grew as Sana spoke without any sense of wrongdoing. Just kidding. Look, she's here. Hey, don't say weird things. She's my precious daughter. The nerve of someone who left their child behind. I had to bite my tongue to keep from saying so. Okay. We'll be waiting then. 2 days later. Sana arrived at our house in a cheerful mood. Thanks a lot. I'll take her back now. Well. Come on, say thank you. You've been looked after. Thank you. Sana sternly told Waverly. Frightened by her mother's words, Waverly mumbled her thanks while looking down. After Sana and Waverly left, I called Tom. Mom. How was Sana? I had already informed Tom after Sana called to pick up Waverly. He asked anxiously about Sana's demeanor. She seemed happy, I guess. I see. Tom sounded clearly disheartened and sighed deeply. I wondered how to reassure him. Then, he said something I hadn't expected. Mom, I'll pay for it, so could you hire a detective agency to check on Sana's actions? A detective agency? His unexpected request made me ask again. Yeah. I understand I'm making her feel lonely by being away, but the thought of her possibly cheating. Honestly, depending on the results, I'm considering divorce. You know, having evidence from a detective agency could be advantageous if it comes to that. Tom's voice conveyed a strong resolve. Dealing with the possibility of his spouse cheating while he's struggling alone with work must be incredibly tough. All right. I'll take care of hiring a detective agency. Thanks. I'll send you her address and places she frequently visits by email. Okay. A few weeks after our conversation, I received the investigation results from the detective agency. As we suspected, Sana was indeed having an affair. It appeared she had been frequently meeting with her lover. During that time, Waverly must have been all alone. Just thinking about how she felt waiting for her mother made me feel terrible. So she was cheating? I reported the findings to Tom, who sounded dejected. Are you going to divorce? I guess so. I just don't have the confidence to continue as a couple. After expressing his sorrow, he made another request. Hey, Mom. Can you join me for a discussion next week? A discussion? I've made up my mind about the divorce, but I want to talk about what she thinks about Waverly and other things. It feels too daunting to face alone. Sorry for being so childish. I was a bit surprised by Tom's request, thinking that marital discussions were private matters. But if there's anything I can do to help, I'm willing to do it. It's no problem at all. I'll be there for the discussion. Thanks. Tom sounded relieved after hearing my response. A week later, Sana came to my house. Waverly wasn't there as Ken had taken her out, so she wouldn't be present for the discussion. What? You suddenly say you want to talk. I'm busy, you know. Sana sat down with an obviously irritated demeanor, fidgeting with her nails. This is so annoying. And why did Ken call me saying he had something to discuss, but then he took Waverly out? I don't want to talk to you. Sorry for tricking you like that. But I knew you wouldn't have come if I had asked. I've been duped. This is the worst. So, what's this talk about? Let's get this over with. Realizing she had been tricked, Sana's mood worsened. You're cheating, aren't you? What? I said that and laid out the evidence I had received from the detective agency on the table. Wait, why? How could you? I had my suspicions, so I hired a detective agency. And they got solid evidence. But why? I mean, it's none of your business. I don't think I have to discuss this matter with you at all. Sana began to visibly panic, shifting her gaze and crossing her legs. Anyway, I have no intention of discussing this with you. If that's all, I'm leaving. Wait a minute. You say you don't intend to talk to me, but does that mean you're willing to talk to someone else? Like Tom, for example. What? Sana clearly flustered at the mention of Tom's name.
Wait. Why are you bringing up Tom? You're not going to call him, are you?
A call? No, I won't be calling. At that moment, the doorbell rang. Today, Tom has made the effort to come here himself. He has something to say to you. Just wait here calmly. After that, I let Tom in and directed him to the room where Sana was. Sana. Long time no see.
Why are you here?
Sana's face went pale as she stared at Tom. Her hands trembling and her breathing rough. I wanted to talk to you. Thought it would be good to have Mom sit in too. Is it a problem if I'm here?
It's not that it's a problem.
Well, even if you said it was, we would have to talk anyway. After glancing at the evidence spread out on the table, Tom turned to me with an apologetic look. Mom, sorry for all this. Don't worry about it. I've already talked to him, so feel free to proceed as you wish. Tom nodded at my words and turned back to Sana. So, you've been cheating, haven't you?
Cheating, that's not what it is.
Sana became meek, a stark contrast to how she acted when it was just the two of us. First off, just because someone's in these photos doesn't mean it's me. Erica said something about hiring a detective agency, but that sounds suspicious. You seem to be misunderstanding something. I'm the one who asked for the detective agency. I had my concerns about your behavior and asked Mom to arrange it. This must have been a shocking revelation to Sana. She lost her words and stared at the pile of evidence. Concerns? What concerns? I can't say. I couldn't possibly mention that it was Waverly's words that made us suspect the affair. Just thinking about what could happen to her. It sends chills down my spine. Sana, let's get a divorce. Tom said, looking straight into Sana's eyes. Without a hint of hesitation.
That's absurd. I absolutely don't want a divorce. Think about Waverly. She'll suffer if her parents aren't together.
I think she'd be better off without a mother like you.
That's harsh. Please, don't talk about divorce.
I can't stay married to someone who doesn't care for their child and hurts my mom. Hearing this, Sana looked at Tom in shock.
What do you mean?
It seems you've been pretty harsh to Mom when me and Dad weren't around. I heard everything from her. Sana must not have expected Tom to know. She turned to look at me with wide eyes.
I didn't do such things. I've been over a few times, but never anything terrible.
Oh, really? Can you say the same after seeing this? I showed Sana the diary I had been keeping and the recordings I had secretly made. This is a diary of everything you've done to me, along with recordings of your words. I thought you might try to wriggle your way out, so I kept a record. When I revealed that I had been keeping records, I braced for Sana's reaction. She sighed heavily.
Seriously, what are you doing?
Sana.
Everyone's so annoying. This is the worst. Fine, do whatever you want. Go ahead with the divorce or whatever. I don't care about Waverly anymore, take her.
What else do you want?
I'll pay whatever amount of money.
Sana became reckless, slamming her hand on the desk. The loud bang made me tremble.
Calm down. Shut up. I don't care anymore. I can't stand this. So what if I cheated? Bringing up detective agencies and evidence like you're so proud. Gross.
Despite being shocked at Sana's true nature, I felt a slight relief. You're really going to pay child support?
I said I would, didn't I? Where's the divorce paper? Hurry up and let me sign it.
And so, the divorce was settled more easily than anticipated. Waverly went with Tom, and the payments for child support began. With Tom's business trip coming to an end, Ken and I looked after Waverly for a while. I hoped she could live with her real father soon. I thought that was the end of it. But 2 months after the divorce was finalized, Sana showed up at my house. What do you want? You're supposed to be a stranger now.
You're still so annoying. Nothing's changed.
The last thing I wanted was to be told I hadn't changed by her. Hey, give me some money. What?
I'm out of money. It's your fault this happened, so it's only natural for you to take responsibility and give me money.
It was troubling to be blamed. After all, her financial issues were her own doing. Why are you here all of a sudden? I haven't done anything wrong, and I don't owe you money. If you're out of money, why not ask your lover?
He ran away when I told him about the divorce. I haven't been working, and I spent my money on him, so I don't have much savings. I've been living off my savings until now, but it's impossible anymore. So, hurry up. The money.
That's your responsibility, isn't it? I'm troubled that you're blaming me.
Shut up. It's all your fault.
Sana repeated the same words without listening to mine. She was beyond my control. It seemed I had no choice but to forcibly make her leave. Just when I was thinking that, I felt a presence behind me.
Hey! What are you doing? Tom!
Turning around, I saw Tom standing there with an incredible fierceness.
What are you doing here? That's my line. Aren't you supposed to be on a business trip?
I occasionally come back to see Waverly. And hearing you talk like that. Were you trying to take money from my mom while I was away? You really haven't changed. After divorcing Sana, Tom had reconsidered the loneliness Waverly might feel and started to come home occasionally. Sana, surprised by Tom's presence, soon pleaded with him in a cloying voice for reconciliation.
Hey, Tom! Can't we start over? I promise I won't cheat again, and I'll take care of the house and parenting properly.
You're just after my money, aren't you? You don't love me or Waverly. You just love someone with money, right?
I'm not that kind of person.
Then why are you here begging for money? Blaming everything on my mom, it's really ugly. Divorcing you was definitely the right decision. Tom, as fierce as ever, pressed on Sana. His presence was so imposing it could be frightening to an onlooker.
Just go back home. And don't ever show your face to us again. Wait.
Tom pushed Sana's back, trying to force her out of the house.
Please. There's nothing to reconsider. If you come to this house again, I'll call the police. Got it?
Upon hearing the word police, Sana quieted down and was pushed out of the house by Tom. Whether she was scared of the word police or had come to realize she was not a good presence to warrant police involvement, it is something only she would know. After that, Sana stopped coming to the house altogether. However, she began to frequently email Tom, all with pleas for reconciliation. While it's generally good not to give up on things, it's important not to forget that persistence can sometimes be perceived as bothersome. According to Tom, if sending me emails makes her feel better, then it's a small price to pay. For now, she's been making child support payments, so I'll leave her be. A year has passed since then. Tom finished his business trip and started a new life with Waverly. But we haven't grown distant. We visit each other's houses frequently and continue to share our lives. It's very gratifying to be able to watch Waverly grow up close. Waverly is almost a primary school student now. A school bag, a hat, textbooks. She arranged them on her brand new study desk, smiling happily. I'm excited to go to school. Seeing her innocent smile made me feel even more affectionate towards her. Yes, indeed. I want to continue watching her grow up close. That's what I wish for the most right now.